for over 26 years, a professional for 20 years, and he studied with Stephen Forrest, Pat Kaluza, and others. He practices an integrated approach to astrology, and he combines imagery, past life analysis, and healthy encouragement of choice and free will. He's also an organic farmer for 20 years, and he aligns the engagement and practice of astrology with the observed and experienced lessons of the natural worlds and her myths in reading. So he describes the mythology and poetry of the solar system and the seasons of the earth and how they are reflected in the myth and poetry of you. With that, Ryan Evans.
Wow, hi everyone. Thanks for that great intro, that was fun. Yeah, my name is Ryan Evans, as you heard. I am a master level certified evolutionary astrologer, astrology teacher. I teach astrologers how to teach astrology. And I'm a professor. Do we have those in astrology? I guess I'm a professor for the Stephen Forrest School of Evolutionary Astrology. I've got students in about 36 countries, I guess. Wow, that's kind of cool and fun. So this is so awesome to be here. I was born and raised in South Minneapolis. I went to Annunciation grade school and De La Salle High School. And every day when I would bike to work at Sebastian Joe's, I would look at the dome and be like, oh wow, I wonder what crazy things are happening in there. I wonder what magic goes on in there. Maybe one day I'll stand up on the stage and give a little lecture about something. I don't know. Started working at Linden Hills Co-op, worked there for many years, and then moved to the beautiful Viroqua, Wisconsin area, where for the last 25 years I've grown organic cut flowers. So there's a little intro. But astrology and spirituality. I was told that the topic for this month is wise confidence. And so I'm going to combine all of that in this presentation on what astrology really is. First off, are there any astrologers in this room? Okay, how about astrologists, people who kind of play with astrology a little bit? Yeah, awesome. Okay, great. For those of us who think that astrology is about made-up pictures in the sky, that is actually quite incorrect. Henry David Thoreau said, "Let us spend one day as deliberately as nature." And so when I have considered my spirituality, growing up Catholic and then being somewhat disillusioned in my early teen years by some of the discrepancies and challenges I saw in that system, I sought other perceptions and spirituality. I went this way and that way and that way. I tried this and that, little Buddhism over here. I talked to some Jewish friends and integrated some of that wisdom and this wisdom over here. And what I've found with my astrological observations is that there's absolutely no difference between between astrology and the growth of a sunflower. There's absolutely no difference between the whole astrological model and all of the archetypology and all of the encouragements and suggestions in astrology and the cycle and rhythm of nature. And so what I try to do with my astrology is I try to see how nature and her cycles percolate up and are displayed through our rhythm and our cycles. And that when we can describe the natural cycles in the most encouraging empowering way, see how that fits with our cycles and then describe those in the most encouraging, empowering way. I have yet to, in the thousands of clients I've had, I have yet to have somebody say, hey, that was total and complete crap. Oh, that didn't mean anything. Because it's so real. Because we are natural beings connected to this earth with our own rhythms and cycles, no different than the earth cycles. So what does this look like? So imagine that you are a seed and it is winter solstice going into Capricorn season. At this time, the seed embryo has totally formed and it is sitting there dormant. It's somewhat insulated, hopefully, and contained whole and unto itself. It's not making any big moves right now, but it is aware, it knows that it is in its shell. Well, after a little bit, the embryo starts to get a little itchy in that shell and has to break free. The seed shell cracks in this little metaphor. The seed shell cracks under the ground, and that seedling has to come out of the shell and get into the cold, dark earth. Looks around for some rock to hold on to, some moisture to imbibe, some nutrients to strengthen it. Maybe there's other seedlings that have grown up around it, all saying, hey, let's grow this way. But our seedling self has an intention. If we're a sunflower, we have a program within us to grow into a sunflower seed. If we're a zinnia, we're not going to grow into a sunflower. That would be like genetic manipulation. We'd try not to do that. So if we are a sunflower, we have a program, we have an intention to bloom into that sunflower. And so the little seedling is growing into the cold soil, and maybe, again, the other little seedlings are like, hey, we're all box elder seeds, and we want you to grow in the way that we're growing. But the sunflower is like, no, that's not who I am. This is who I have to be, sunflower. And imagine the soil surface and the seedling coming right up to the soil surface. And that seedling is like, wow, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to grow up into the big world I hear about. I can feel the warmth on the other side of that soil surface. Oh, I know I'm going to be a sunflower, but what's it going to be like? Oh, there's all this hope and potential and possibility. That feeling right before spring. We completely do not have any concept of what is actually on the other side of that soil surface. Maybe we hear some pitter-patter of running around, and maybe we project onto that. Oh, that must be little children playing. It sounds wonderful. Oh, I can't wait. And then this miraculous thing happens. We can equate it to birth. But the seedling pops out of the soil surface, full of potential, full of life, full of energy. Oh, I'm alive, yes! But the funny thing is that little pitter-pattering, sometimes that's actually the rabbits and the deer that want to eat us. And we're like, oh, I'm alive, yes, everything is so great, and there's wind that knocks us over, and the rain beats us down, and the combination of the wind and the rain beating us down puts our face in the mud. And that little seedling has to have the motivation, the self-love, the personal power to strengthen its stem and maintain its trajectory towards the sun. It's not always easy because the little seedling coming up, maybe there's bigger trees or bigger plants there that are shading it. And so that seedling has to find its own path. Well, eventually, seedling finds its strength. Its roots are getting more established, drawing on more nutrients, drawing up more water. The stem thickens. Leaves, big true leaves, begin to unfurl and turn towards the sun. Oh, there's some resources there that we're tapping into in nature. Again, stronger roots. We've practiced now for a while, and we can be more flexible with the wind, and the rain doesn't hurt as much, so we're a little stronger. We grow up towards the sun, confident, self-loving, balanced, at ease. Well, then we begin to put out some flowers. As soon as we start to put out some flowers, well, we need bees to come and pollinate us. So we need to engage with the world a little bit. We need to make some connections. This can be really exciting. Wow, hey, I'm impervious to the wind and the rain. The rabbits aren't trying to eat me. I'm taller than they are. And maybe early on in my development, when those deer were coming to eat me, I had put out some thorns or something. Maybe some plants, some poison in my leaves. It's not like we're trying to hurt the deer or anything, but if they're going to try to, devour us, what are we going to do about it? We've got to survive. But maybe those are less important now. We're able to make these connections a little happier, a little more excited, putting out those blooms, and it's like, yeah, pollinate me. Then we come into full bloom, come into our full experience, our full expression, our full manifestation in the world. And from one point of view, we're like, oh, right, this is everything I've worked for. This is the culmination of my existence. The sunflower, I'm in full bloom. Wow. And it's right at that moment where we also have to understand that full bloom is now the part of the cycle where we start to wane. And, we've given our pollen, we've given our blossom, we've given our beauty to the world. I mean, what else is there? Well, now we're starting to set seed. Now we're starting to think of the future. Now we're starting to say, all right, well, what of me can I give to the world? So we start to set seed, and we're the sunflower, and the seed becomes heavy. Seed head becomes heavy. And so what do we need now? We need the little chickadees to come and eat the seeds. So we're like, the sunflower's like, here. It's like, there's the joy, just here. It's just everything that I've bloomed for, everything that I was created for is contained in the seed. So here, we pass along a little part of us, a little offering. So the chickadee eats the seed and goes and poops it out over here. Seed falls to the ground. And what are we now? Well, we were the big plant coming into maturity, coming into the world, maximum extension into the world. And now, as we wane, the seed now goes back into the soil, into the dark, the feminine, the archetypal realm, the magical, mysterious, creative, imaginative. Wow, what will I become now? Does it really matter? We just let go and maybe just being or having been is enough to be happy and celebrate. And that seed goes deeper and deeper and deeper into the soil. Again, feminine, magical, archetypal, imaginative, spiritual realm. And we begin to develop an embryo, an intention of what the whole next cycle is going to be. But we're not there yet, so this is all we can do. It's kind of funny. I tell individuals often in readings the archetype of Virgo is thumbs pointing towards each other. We're doing, chopping, typing, writing, hammering. But there comes a time where we need to turn our thumbs away from each other. There's not much we're doing here. I mean, maybe we can fix a light bulb. Nope, there's my thumbs turning. No, we can catch something. We can receive. It's also the offering. But here in this waning phase of the life cycle of the plant, just got to trust. Integrate whatever wisdom we have, we can from the whole previous cycle and embody that and wait patiently, quietly, lovingly for the next cycle. So what I just described to you was the entirety of the zodiac. Capricorn, we're in our seedling self, aware and awake, but it is cold, and we have to be very mature and responsible with containing our energy, using that very effectively and precisely and conservatively. It's like, imagine you're an ancient human before electricity or the incandescent light bulb. We had to have our wood stacked. We had to make sure we had a source of water if we're going to survive through the winter. And then we come to Aquarius season, that seed shell breaks, or here in the northern climes, the seed kind of wakes up and starts to go like this to the shell, and we need to break free of our restrictions, Aquarius. And when we break out of that, when we break through our own barriers, Aquarius, then immediately we're confronted with a cold, dark world. And in this cold, dark world, we still have to maintain our authenticity and our purpose, our intention. All these other little seedlings, hey, come be a box elder. No, we want you to come be some creeping Charlie. No, I'm a sunflower. And so we have to maintain our integrity. We have to maintain our own intention amidst the pressures of conformity. The ancient human, or modern human, who here wants to get the heck out of Dodge at the end of January, middle of February? Yes, it's called cabin fever. We also want to innovate. We call this the potluck. All right, I have all of my beets and green beans canned, but that's all I grew last year. Silly me. Hey, Joey, you want to meet? Hey, Billy, you want to meet? Let's have a little potluck. Oh, you've got some roasted lamb? Oh, that sounds awesome. So we bring it all together, and we can come together in community, but we come together in community with our own unique individual contribution to that. There's the archetype of Aquarius. And then that seedling that comes right to the soil surface. Oh, I wonder what it's going to be like. Oh, the pitter-patter of little children playing. Welcome to the archetype of Pisces, where we have our imagination that we are projecting into the future. We call this what we want life to look like, or our intention for bringing our intention for the world, but we just don't know what it's going to be like. So again, we have to be in this place of openness and allowing, while still saying, all right, I'm going to stay positive and I'm going to break through the soil surface. It's going to be awesome. Or like modern or ancient human, we can see the snow melting. And we're like excited for the garden. Modern human is like poring over the seed catalogs, imagining what the garden is going to look like. There's the archetype of Pisces season. Come to the lunar first quarter square of the moon, also known as the archetype of Aries season, spring equinox, where we are right at that place between the light above soil and the dark below soil, and we break through into the light with all of this power and all of this passion, all of this desire to make our intention that was in the seed that we came into awareness in Capricorn season, synonymous with the new moon and the conjunction. But we break through at that first quarter square. We're like alive. And we are faced with the challenges of the big world. We have to maintain our strength. We have to remember that there's really only one person that we're really responsible for in this world, and that's ourselves. So the archetype of Aries season. Here I am, this little seedling, and there are all these threats out there in the natural world now. It's not like Aries is interested in war. It's actually Libra season. Get to that some other time. But Aries sees, no, it just wants to do its thing. I want to grow towards the light. And here the rabbits want to eat me. Here's a thorn. Just, if you wouldn't try to eat me, I wouldn't put out a thorn. It's okay. But those of us who are Aries, or have any Aries in our chart, which is every single one of us, understands that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to love ourselves. So we embody the season of Aries that we have just passed through. And we see the snow melting, and it's 80 degrees one day, and then it's 20 degrees the next day, and we still have to maintain our power and our purpose and not get beaten down by the fact that, we're still a young little seedling growing. We come to Taurus season, and our roots are stronger, and we're putting out leaves, and we're tapping into the resources of the earth, and we're tapping into the resources of the sky, the sun. We're in the air, we're stronger, we feel a little more safe, we're confident, we've got our stuff pretty much on lockdown, and we're just doing our growth. Taurus done right is at peace. Taurus done right, solid, rooted, tapping the resources of the light above and the earth below. Start to put out those flowers. Gemini season. All right, we need to make the connections. Yes, we need to have the bees come and pollinate our first little flowers. So we need other people. Nowadays it's like, all right, it's theoretically not going to freeze anymore. Time to get going. We got the field planted in Taurus season, and now we've got to cultivate some stuff. And if we're like really wise, awesome, diverse farmers, maybe we've been growing some stuff in a greenhouse, and there might even be some lettuce ready to harvest. There's so much to do. This is so awesome. And so the archetype of Gemini is found And all of these archetypes are found in these natural reflections. So we make all these connections. There's so much to do. We got to hoe. We got to harvest. We can maybe plant some more stuff. Second crop of carrots. And then we come into our full bloom in Cancer season. Summer solstice. The height of the sun. Sun aligns with the Tropic of Cancer. It's the highest it gets at sunrise and noonday. Highest in the sky, most northerly in the sky. So there's so much light and there's so much warmth. And that is opposite Capricorn season, where there is not so much light and there's not so much warmth. It is cold. And what are we going to do? Cry about the cold in Capricorn season? No. Capricorn says, buck up, little camper. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can cry all about not having wood, but when it comes down to it, you better go chop some wood or you're going to die. But we come to Cancer season, and that's not going to happen. Come to Cancer season, we can go pick some wild raspberries. And so we pick some wild raspberries, and we sit by the mountain stream in the dappled shade of a tree, and we go, because it's summer. And, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes notwithstanding, nature is, for the most part, not going to perhaps kill us the way in Capricorn season you walk outside without your parka, and you can, depending on the day, it could be done 3 or 4 minutes. Not in Cancer season. So we come to Cancer season. It is time to heal. It is time to rest. And so the archetypology of Cancer for all of us, wherever it lands in our chart, shows this is where we heal. This is where we restore. And here we are, the sunflower in full bloom, maximum extension into the world, maximum bloom. The sun is at maximum. The season is at maximum. Full moon, full bloom. And then the lunar cycle, the seasons, the sun, all begins to wane. And as it's waning, we come to Leo season, and we're still putting out the last blooms. We need to start attracting an audience. Hey, birds, hey, butterflies, doesn't matter. I'm just got to celebrate life. There's Leo season. In the garden, the tomatoes are starting to ripen. Peppers are starting to ripen. We've pulled in a few crops already, depending on our succession planting. So we have the celebration of life, because we also know that after Leo season, then we're going to have to work our butts off bringing in the harvest. Welcome to Virgo season. In Virgo season, when that seedling starts to ripen, we want to offer our seeds, offer our wisdom, offer the techniques, healing techniques, whatever it is, offer our service to other people. Let me be helpful. Let me assist. What can I do? Is there a way that we can make this work? Here, have some seeds. I've worked all my life to get to this point, and what I have learned is here. So, waning gibbous phase of the moon, Virgo season, archetype of the shaman, we offer what we are to the world. And then the little chickadee comes, eats the seed, poops it out. Third quarter square, welcome to Libra season, where we have to We have to admit the fact that we are going into the dark hemicycle now. We're going into the dark of the year. And so we have to have this balance and harmony in our nervous system where we can look back and give thanks for that whole cycle. And also acknowledge that we're going into darkness. September 21st, 22nd, say we're up over the hill in Grand Marais. It will have frozen. And so your tomatoes are dead. And so what can we do? Cry about it? No. We say, okay, I've gathered my tomatoes, I've done my work in Virgo season, and now I've got my tomatoes and I've got my zucchini, but that's not going to make a very good salsa. So, hey, I need to connect with Bob. Maybe he grew some onions. Hey, you want some zucchini? Oh yeah, he says, I've got some onions. Sweet. He's like, I wanted some zucchini. That's what I use for noodles nowadays. Okay, awesome. I want some salsa. Great. And we make this connection, even trade. Your onions, my zucchini. Made this connection. Hey, we're going into winter. I need some insulation. You need some nails? I've got some nails. Cooperation. And so we've established this equilibrium within ourselves, theoretically. Thank the good Lord, because when we go into Scorpio season, now everything's dead. And for those who have experienced death, one of the great, beautiful things about death is that for those of us who are still alive, it gives us this incredible, powerful, poignant presence to be in the moment right now, where we give thanks for the sacredness of life. And so Scorpio season, the garden is dead. Or is it? So we chop up the rotten tomatoes and the wilty lettuce. We throw it all into the compost heap, where the alchemical cauldron of new life exists. Stir it up, add some water, emotion, stir it up with air, consciousness, and that old crap breaks down. Anyone here have old crap? Don't have to raise your hand, because I know you do. That stuff breaks down, and we walk away. And then we come back later, a week or two, stir it up again, check the moisture levels, walk away, come back, stir it up, walk away. This is called therapy. Oh, look, there's that old broccoli stalk. Oh, there's that old wound. Oh, there's that old pain. Okay, well, you want to talk about it? Well, I'm looking at it right now and I'm feeling it. Okay, all right, let me process that and let the unconscious, the aerobic bacteria do its work. Scorpio season. And in this time, we give thanks because there's still more. This is a whole spiral here. Not a circle, it's a spiral. Then we come to Sagittarius season, the last season. Come to Sagittarius season, and we look back over the preceding 12 seasons, and we do what we can to extract the wisdom gained from each of these preceding seasons. What did I learn in Capricorn season where I had to have adequate wood stacked? What did I learn from Aquarius season where I had to be authentically true to myself? What did I learn from Pisces season where I had to maintain my hope and positivity and projection of the best of all possible worlds? What did I learn in Aries season where I had to be strong and confident amidst the rabbits that wanted to eat me? In Taurus season where I had to maintain my stability as I grew up? What did I learn in Gemini season where I had to make these connections and was so incredibly busy that I didn't have time to feel or anything? But when I came to Cancer season, what did I learn about how to really feel? What did I learn in Leo season with its celebration, or Virgo season with its deliberate work, or Libra season where I had to balance my neurology, or Scorpio season where I had to face death? And then we come to Sagittarius season and we have been through death and we're free. Come to Sagittarius season, the seedling down in the darkest point, the very waning crescent lunar phase. Come to that darkest point and we're like, okay, wow, what's the meaning of it all? How do we encapsulate this into a solid belief or truth even that can be the basis of the intention that is then solidified in Capricorn season, and winter solstice comes, germination of the seed, Capricorn season, the new moon, the conjunction, and the whole cycle starts all over again. Life 2.0, and then 3.0, 50.0. And so when we observe astrology in this manner, yeah, there's some complexity. The plant has to live. Ancient human has to survive in the natural world. We have to learn how to follow the migrating elk, or how to succession plant carrots, or how to grow enough potatoes, or how much square footage do I need for my ryegrass. I mean, all of this, is very important for survival. But in thriving, when we can engage each one of these steps consciously, lovingly, with intention, then we are in alignment and we are in harmony. And each one of us were born at a particular time that, again, I've got 5 minutes here, but, where our soul's intention said, this is the moment that I want to be born. This is the intention of my soul. And these metaphors of the season reflect the intention of my soul. Maybe I want to grow up and bring art to this world, or maybe I want to be a leader, maybe I want to make this world more beautiful, or I want to establish connection, or I want to enlighten people with information, or I want to help people to heal, or I want to just celebrate life, or I want to do really good work, or I want to find the right connections, or I want to really be a shaman healer, or I want to be the philosopher. We all have these intentions somewhere inside of us. And as we learn to recognize that and celebrate that, it's not like the challenges of life go away. It's not like, the car's never going to break down, or Mercury retrogrades aren't going to reflect that time where we should have listened to ourselves before the car broke down and taken the car to the shop. Life's still going to happen, but when we can observe our evolution in this context, then we can say, all right, it's all good. I'm just in this part of the cycle. And the cycle goes round and round and round. And so when we can see these archetypes, also known as planets, these different pieces of us, also known as planets, moving through their seasons, then each one of these planets or archetypes or little pieces of us have their particular tone. Well, those are suggestions about the best way to engage. Capricorn season, are you going to just sit there in your hut and just be all grumpy and just, okay, I'm just waiting another 5 years for it to maybe get warm. Go away from me. I've got only enough wood. I'm not going to, we can be dour. We can, in Aquarius season, if we want to, we can be, screw you, I'm going to do whatever I want to do for me. I'm still going to be cold and distant. We can come to Pisces, and we can project a whole bunch of illusions onto the pitter-pattering of little children's feet, i.e. rabbits that want to devour us. We can have all sorts of illusions. Come to Aries season, we can put out too many thorns. We can be too aggressive. Come to Taurus season, and we can just, nope, don't bother me, I'm just doing my thing. Just leave me alone, give me my potato chips and Netflix. We can come to Gemini season. We can get too crazy with all the 2 billion things that there is to do. We can come to Cancer season, and maybe we've suppressed it all until then, and we spend the next month weeping. We can come to Leo season. We can be in such celebration that it's just all about the party, man. And then there's the day after, where Virgo season happens and we have to go to work, and then the work is drudgery and the work is heavy and we feel like slaves. And we can come to Libra season and we can look at the impending winter with fear. As opposed to the preparation that we were hoping for, we can look at it as fear and just pretend nice. No, everything's okay. We can come to Scorpio season and fear death so much that we go into places where we just leave everything a mess, don't compost it. Because that compost, when that is all broken down, that's the fertilizer for next year's tomato plants. That's actually new life. This is part of a little fun mystery. Amidst death, there is new life. I love it. Come to Sagittarius season, and maybe we had an unsophisticated reaction or engagement with all of that. We can form illusory beliefs. We can think we know everything. But done right, we're in alignment. Done right, we are all plants that have our own programs for our own preferred blossoming. And so, in conclusion, my suggestion for all of us, this is shameless self-marketing, to know your astrology. And so when you know your astrology, then you'll know where your particular places are, your Mercury, your mind, your thought, your perception, speech, your relationship needs, Venus, your power and your passion, Mars, and what season those are in. Then we can tune our perceptive focus to the best of all possible expressions in all of these, and theoretically, life can work, and we can come into our full blossom at last. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2 questions.
Yes, bring them.
Within all that, how much free will do you feel have?
Aha! The age-old question of free will and determinism. Well, without devolving into my honors English essay where we were given this back in high school, we are existing in a field. And in that field, it is totally and completely determined. Say we are born as a Capricorn. It is totally and completely determined that we are choosing, it's very important, that our soul has manifested or chosen to be born at this time. If it didn't, it would have been chosen to be born another time. But in this field, we have all of these different ways that we can then choose to react to that stimuli. And how we choose to react in that particular field is our free will dancing in a field of determinism. And so, done right, yeah, we can choose whatever we want whenever we want. I could just, in fact, I'm just going to walk away. No, I'm not. I could have, though. I had the free will to do that. However, it is determined that in my best of all possible lives that I'm staying here present for you. So in this determined field, I'm making a choice to stay here present with you. So it is a balance, free will, in a context of relative determinism. More on this later. Yes, sir?
The 12 fields, wasn't there supposed to be a 13th also that Sumerians somewhat missed?
This is possible, and this is a topic of exploration. And when we consider the movements of the moon in a year, there are 13 moons on the turtle's back. Yeah. So there is something to that. Yeah. However, if I look through the lens of the title of my upcoming book, Seasonal Archetypology, there's 12 seasons. And if I exist in this realm of 12 seasons, I'm looking at the solstices and equinoxes, and then I'm looking at the cross-quarter days. Okay, and those cross-quarter days, halfway in between, it's a cross-quarter day is in the middle of the second season from that angle. So the division of 12 in the context of seasons, it works really well with solstices and equinoxes.
So you don't need a 13th?
I don't need a 13th season, no. Now, if we were sidereal astrologers and based our zodiac on the stars, I'm a tropical astrologer, I base my zodiac on the seasons. But if I based it on the stars, yeah, maybe there's going to be 13, actually 14, and then one of those is going to drop off, and then pretty soon Aries is going to be gone, and there's not going to be an Aries archetype. And then there's going to be 17, and then after another 5,000 years, the entire zodiac is going to be different, but the seasons of the earth are always going to be the same, theoretically. And that's the natural world. And that's what interests me. Thus, the subtitle to my book, Bringing Astrology Down to Earth. Hopefully that was an attempt to answer your questions. Any other questions? Yes, blue shirt. Yeah.
One question is, do we experience all of these cycles in a given lifetime? And you've used wonderful positive language when we're kind of in that darkness or the cold where everything's dead. What inspiration can you give us on how to look at those times in our lives when it feels like we're experiencing, maybe even over years, maybe even decades, periods where where's the sunlight? Where's the next cycle?
Right. Great questions. So first question, do we experience all these cycles in our life? Yes, it's called progressed lunar phase. More on this, contact me in the next few days. But yes, the rhythms and the cycles of our life, there are movements that we astrologers have made up. We call these progressions. There are movements, extensions, slowed down, but extensions of the movement of our chart that show these cycles and these rhythms. They're big. I mean, the moon just naturally, it takes 28, 29 days to go around the zodiac. It takes a year for the sun to go around the zodiac. So the sun moving around our chart takes a year. The moon moving around our chart takes a month. The progressed moon, again, not to just devolve into a 5-day lecture on that, takes about 28 years to go around our chart. Mercury about a year, Venus 1.2 years, Mars 2.2 years. So we do experience these cycles in ways, all of us. The second part, what do we do when it just keeps looking dark and crappy? Well, the very first thing I would do, and that's the question that got me into astrology right there. What am I going to do about my problems? That there are these answers in that. That if someone, and it happens on a daily basis, comes into my office and there's oh my God, what am I going to do about my problems? I've been suffering with this thing for years, or I've been suffering with this challenge for years. If it's a psycho-emotional, spiritual challenge, there's often ways to describe that where this encouraging, motivating language can be ascribed to that problem, and we can change our mindset, we can change our heart set, we can change our soul set, we can change our intention, we can empower ourselves, we can find this stuff in the astrological chart. Can I look at an astrology chart and cure cancer? No. Can I look at an astrology chart and say, hey, nothing's ever going to happen to you that's bad, challenging, or sucky? No. Life exists. What the astrology chart and what astrology in general shows us is how to deal with adversity in the best of all possible ways. And even the best of all possible ways can still sometimes be the hardest thing ever. So hopefully that was mildly helpful. Yes, sir, and then here.
You earlier mentioned past lives. Does your birth chart point to past life information?
Sure does. We astrologers have ascribed this archetypology to the eclipses. And the basic theory of the eclipses is that when they're astronomically, when the sun and moon and earth are in alignment, if the moon is in between the sun and the earth, or the earth is in between the sun and the moon, there's an interruption in the normal gravitational and electromagnetic flow between the three. There's a rebooting. And esoterically, what we say is at this time, when there is an interruption in the electromagnetic field of the earth, and it's at that time souls come in and souls leave. And so astrologers of ancient times and modern times have looked at the nodes of the moon, the eclipse points, or wherever there would be an eclipse. We look at this as the trajectory of soul's evolution. We look at the south node of the moon, or where the moon descends below celestial equator. We look at that point as a metaphor for past lives, or involution, what brought our soul into manifestation on this earth. And then we look at the north node of the moon, where the moon rises above celestial equator, north of celestial equator, as evolution, where we are growing into. And so we astrologers, with our penchant for projecting meaning onto stuff, then look at the south node as containing storyline of past lives, and the north node, the storyline of how we are to make choices in order to move in the direction of our best in this and future lives. So again, that's a 5-day lecture, but that's just the quick synopsis on that. Sir?
Yeah.
Out of time? Okay, no more questions?
I just want to endorse Ryan.
Oh,
I've worked with him over the years, and you got my question on past life, because he
God, now I'm going to have to give you another $5. Oh, jeez. That's okay, yeah.
Anyway, that's all I want to say. And I just had a couple aha moments. Is as I listened to you, I went through my wife, I went through my brother, I went through my sister, all the different signs that they are. And it's like, boom, you really connected the dots. Just, you know, in a really nice way. But that's exactly how my little brother is. The Gemini. And I'm the Pisces. You know, like, hey, what's up there? The angels are coming. I mean, it was really well done. I thought it was brilliant.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thank you,
$10.
Ryan Evans.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he'll be back for our And Ryan will be back for our closing circle here, but first, our offering. And our ushers will come down. And I want to remind everyone that we are an independent organization, totally dependent on your donations. So dig deep. And besides today, you can always go on our website and become a regular donor through the website. And that's what really sustains us, when we have a regular income coming in so we can offer these awesome programs and speakers. Thank you.
Gonna make this garden grow, gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rains come tumbling down. Pulling weeds, picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Need a spot to call my own, for the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land.
Okay. So this is when we bless our offering and we make ourselves a channel. And if you'll join me in blessing this green associated with Mother Earth, and may it grow all the kinds of things that we were talking about today, all the good things we were talking about today. So if you'll repeat after me, God's perfect love, flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Oh, okay, so let's circle up, and Ryan will lead us in a closing circle.
Awesome. So if you feel so inclined, close your eyes. No pressure, but close your eyes and imagine yourself as a plant. What would you like to be? Whom would you like to be? How would you like to bloom? What is your great offering? Where do you find your power, your solidity, your joy, your magic? Reach out and tap into the energy of the earth and know that you are she. And may you continue to go forth and blossom into the world. Aho. Yay. Thanks, everybody.